Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course. This is I Am the Light Now with Dr. Edwige, the Cosmic Peacock Goddess. We're going to really hear what that means and her remarkable story of a Council of 12 visitation and so much more in this very tremendous and beautiful shift of the great ages. Let's welcome Edwige. Hi, Edwige. Thank
Hi,
you for being
Lauren.
here.
Good. As always, it's a delight to be here. As always, thank you.
Oh my goodness, there is so much going on.
So,
You have a beautiful light language activation for everyone today as we
mhm.
talk more about the light body. You have been going through a process in your own life, and that's what makes you a wonderful way shower. And recently, there's just been some events that you've experienced. And I'd like you to share a little bit about those because it is a very beautiful message of hope for all of us. It's almost as if we've made it, but there's still some things to talk about here. Let's talk about
Absolutely.
the recent experiences. What's happened with you?
So, oh my goodness, where do I begin? It's just that even from childhood, knowing that I've been visited and being taken out. And so that part hasn't changed and certainly has increased. And so just a few weeks ago, I found myself in the cosmos. I found myself being able to help beings of light, and it looked like a galactic freeway and all of these beings of light. And that's how I see human souls. I see the color, your heat signature, if you will, your color. And so I'm out and I'm just observing all of these beings moving, moving, moving like a freeway. And then as I was observing that, I started to see that there were some that weren't moving. And so I knew instinctively, intuitively that they needed my assistance, and that's why I was there. And so I would instantaneously be at that being of light. I would look around to see if we had a clear passage, because as all of these beings are intersecting, they can't touch each other. So they're all really on their own path, their own timeline, if you will. And so as I embraced that particular light being, I would look for a clear path. When I didn't see one, I would create the gateway and we'd be there. And then instantly I'd be holding on another one, and instantly we'd be through that new gate and the next gate and the next gate. So after, I don't know how long that lasted, I got up and going about my day. And about an hour after getting up, all of a sudden I could feel myself starting to be pulled back there. And that was quite something. And so I got on the phone with one of the beautiful souls that helped me to stay anchored. And so we're on the telephone and I'm like, okay, I'm going back to that place. And he said, yes, I can see that's where you are. And then Lord Lanto came in to assist. And from that point, I started moving them even faster. And the energy moving through me literally was pouring down through my crown, and it was pouring so quickly down through my crown that my body was doing this and I could feel it moving through me. But even more so, it felt like all of a sudden I hadn't had a meal in days and days and days, and I just felt all of my energy go. You know, when you get that sort of like nervous jitter energy because you need to eat, that's what I instantly went into. And so that lasted for some 20 or so minutes. And then all of a sudden, when Lord Lanto just appeared, the energy shifted. I could feel it go down through my right foot. And then I became the calm in the center of the storm, and he left. And now everything was being orchestrated around me as I was holding the space. Energy was permeating from me, and all of the same movements of timelines and different things were going on. But I was in this new place as it was being orchestrated around me. And I could feel instantly how much more calm I was. And yet I could feel like a tornado, how it's, I could hear that and feel that as the energies were moving around. And so that happened probably 2 weeks ago. Very interesting. But indeed, and the main thing that occurred with that is because of what's going on in the planet right now, because of all the negativity, because of all that we are experiencing, those, and I call all of you souls watching this, you beings of light, that you're being bombarded with all of these energies instead of being able to stay cleared and centered and balanced in your heart, where you're making a conscious choice to choose your sovereignty. Those who choose their sovereignty will be sovereign. Those who do not choose their sovereignty will not. And it's from that place of a loving heart. And so um, that energy was being cleared, right? Moving, all this movement, so that you can choose consciously that, yes, I understand what's going on and I love it free. For again, I do not consent to it, and I choose my sovereignty, and I choose ascension. And so that's what was really happening during that event, if you will. They were being moved, the energies were being cleared and moved, so that now, knowing this, we make that choice consciously. So that was a really big thing that happened about 2 weeks ago for, well, humanity, dare I say.
And so I find it really interesting that if we look at the outer world, what is going on with 2 weeks ago, that's George Floyd. And that
Mm.
incident has helped to catalyze a peaceful protest. I mean, there
Well,
was a time where things got pretty hectic, and then it felt like this overwhelming grasp of peace that people were stepping into. So that correlates with what you
that
were
was,
doing there.
yes, absolutely. That's why. And what was so very interesting about that, um, and whether or not it was a false flag, because there's so much different things going on, right? But what came to me, which was so fascinating, I actually felt him and I said, thank you for your sacrifice. This is what you came forward for. Because you see, what people don't recognize, and maybe some do, it's where we go one, we go all has a significant meaning, you see, because we can no longer leave a blind eye to anyone, because we are a collective and we must all come together as a collective. We cannot allow ourselves to be brainwashed by this 7 layers of epidermis and dermis and whatever you call it, the skin. We cannot allow ourselves to be blinded by that, because we have a responsibility as beings of light to recognize the light. And if you're purple, if you're blue, if you're brown, if you're yellow, if you're white, if you're black, it doesn't matter, because underneath what I see, oh wow, 2 weeks ago, some were purple, some were gold, some were red, some were green, some were blue. I saw all the signatures of your colors, of your rays of God. That's it. That's what the higher worlds see. And so that's what we have to remember. And so, you know, it requires this, again, knowing that December 21st, we're going into 0 degrees of Aquarius. All of the lies, all of the deceit, all of the programs, and the program has been the victimizer programs. So yeah, okay, if you want to choose sides, you can recognize that you've played the victim, and you can recognize that you've played the victimizer. And now what? Let's come together and realize that that has just been the the negative forces. Dare we name them draconian or whatever we want to name them, it doesn't matter. But this is the program that they put upon the people, upon the humans, and we played into that. And so now we have to come together as a collective, as one voice, one heart, one love, and say, we stand together unified, and you no longer have power over me, and I am no longer a toy, a ploy in your program. I'm stepping free of the matrix. I am sovereign. And so, yes, it required that, even though the shadow government went ahead and orchestrated that whole thing, it's okay, because the Most High Divine is always in charge, and is always observing, and is always has a larger hand in it. So yeah, even though the dark might think it's instigating it, the light is always winning, and the light always has a better plan, and the light is always in charge. And the light is saying, yes, we're going to allow this to happen because it's going to bring us to this point, which it has. It brought us to this point. Now, what are we going to do about it? Now, let's get past the stupid thing of color. Let's get past the victim, victimizer mentality, and let's come together as one voice, one heart, saying, we are divine beings here having an experience, and the experience taught us that we now choose to become sovereign beings of light. We now choose to move into power, sovereignty, miracles, and freedom for all, because where we go one, we go all. And that better go home with you. It really better ring true, because that's the collective. And that's okay. So just sharing the experience as I did with you earlier that happened just 2 days ago when I went out to the council, and I'll just share a little bit of that. I was with the council as a member, and so they said that the few will no longer control the many, that they have heard the cries of the many, and the few will no longer control the many. And also they said that, well, all representation came forward from all the star seeds that are on this planet. Your star seed planet that you're from, some form of the council came forward, and they were all standing there in harmony, in unity, saying, enough already. We are now ready to assist. We are now ready. And so if they can come together, and trust me when I say they all look completely different, right? Cosmic beings don't even look human, half of them, and some do and some don't. If they could come together as a collective in one voice and one heart and say they hear us and they will no longer allow the few to control the many, then can't we come together? For goodness sakes. Yeah.
For goodness sakes. Oh my gosh, I love that. That feels really very wonderful. It feels right as well. And so it's beautiful. So choosing sovereignty and staying in the loving heart. Um, there's also a shift that Gaia. Can you talk a little bit about Gaia's shift as you see it, or as you've been shown that shift? Because
Mm.
we've heard this for so long. Some said it would have happened on December 21st, 2012. Something happened.
Something happened there, yes.
Yeah,
In fact,
something did.
I was in deep ceremony as a ceremonial rights keeper and had to go out on the land at midnight to do ceremony. Things happened, and it was a big shift that actually occurred. And yet it's all in preparation. And so, you know, the reality of it is the humans have to reach critical mass. And that was just a recent thing, that humans reached critical mass. Is definitely in the process of still healing. The earth is in the process, you know, and I've heard some say that we're in the darkest night of the soul, and that really makes sense. And if you understand that that's the fourth initiation of ascension. And so, right, collectively, those who are choosing ascension collectively have to come together and help Mother Earth release all of the lies, all of the sins that have been perpetuated, not only on the humans, but on Mother Earth. All of this has to come up and be released. And so for those way showers and those light workers who are guided to plant crystals, go plant your crystals. For those who are guided to go and do ceremony, go do your ceremony. You see, it's not enough to stay inside and meditate. It's not enough. You have to go get on the land. You're here because she needs your help. She needs your help. She needs your light. There are pillars of light that have to go and anchor their pillars on the land. And so these are things that have to be done still for her in her preparation. Which is basically the most I can say. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So, all right, continue, everyone. All grid keepers, gatekeepers, light workers, crystal
Now is the
bringers.
time. They have moved things up. And so now it's vitally important. that we get to work on anchoring and wherever we're supposed to be, planting those crystals, whatever you're being guided that you're supposed to do to assist Mother Earth, now is the time for you to do that.
All
Now.
right. Now is the
I
time.
mean, the
Yeah.
call was so urgent. I mean, the call when I was with the council, the call coming in from humanity was so urgent. It could be heard far and wide in the cosmos. That's how urgent it was. And so that means that those of us who are here for a very specific reason, and all of those, and you know who you are, it's not new to you, in fact. And so it's time.
Okay. All right. So
No
I
more
know
dress
that we're
rehearsal.
I
That's
know what
it.
I'm going to do. I've got some crystals that are going to go into some water areas. All right. So thank you,
Okay.
everyone, as well, for your light and anchoring this light on the planet. Edwige, we're going to do a beautiful light language activation with you today.
Mhm.
But I want to have you share something for those. How can those listen in to identify what needs to be done and then do it? Do you have specific, I don't know if you want to call it protocols for this besides listening to our heart? But is there any advice for those who might ask what they can specifically do with crystals or on the grid lines? Do you have any advice on that?
Um, well, obviously, yes, follow your heart. But you said about putting them in the water. So, take the crystals, work on your energy, build your energy, however you choose to build your energy. So feel the energy building within your vessel, right? So just imagine, if you would, even if you were to bring your hands together, I can feel the pulsing right now moving through my fingers. And now from that place, just allowing the love from the divine to move and flow through you. Now pick up that crystal as you're about to plant it on the land, and hold it within that energy and build that energy and connect with that crystal. Allow the most high divine energy to flow in. Whoa, and down and through that crystal, and then plant that crystal. Do you see? You're planting that frequency that's coming from on high. So be a conduit. Be a conduit from the heavens, from the cosmic energy into that crystal, and then into Mother Earth, if that makes sense. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Very, very good.
Okay.
All right. So, to help us in our process of releasing, so we can
Mhm.
also help Mother Earth release some very deep, deep energies. I mean, it is so deep, and we're seeing this. We are going to have you do a light language process for us. And
Okay.
this is actually going to eliminate some of the debris and the baggage that we carry so that we totally can be sovereign. And it's, when you were sharing that Lord Lanto came to you and you were moving timelines,
Mhm.
that's literally what you're going to be helping us do with
Yes.
this process. So, with that,
So with that, all right, and let me attempt to anchor myself, folks. So if I start to seem discombobulated, forgive me. Bear with me. And so just take a nice deep breath. Everyone can close your eyes and breathe in and out. In and out. And in and out. Now, as you breathe, allow yourself to step into the flow. And if you can, imagine the flow as this beautiful golden white energy just flowing in from above, from the cosmos, from the Most High. And this is prime source energy. Step into that flow and breathe. And in that flow is divine, it's perfect, it's whole. And that divine flow is going to help us to clear whatever does not support you as this way shower, as this pillar of light. And so with your permission, I'm going to tap into that flow. Pashapaki ashapati tira to pesapiki shikatai. Mano shititia di sabako shapaki shikatai makoto pesapia nishta to tetia. Manakushikatikate sabako shapaki shikatai makoto pesapia nianostea. Mitutoria matopika shapakatikataya batopika shikadama topia matopia pia 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 bishopia no kotoshinika toshinikataya paria yamanopia samakoto pechiria sama. Kaina no yatia machopia manokia tia tia sama mano jeto ichineko tose. No 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 ne 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 no 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 ne 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 no 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 ne 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 no 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 ne ne no 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 ne ne no 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 ne ne no 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 ya 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 moko ya 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 no no nani no no ne 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 no na na ne 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 na 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 ko ya 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 mo ya 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 mo ya 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 mo ya 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 mo Money, ay, 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 money, ay, 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 nando, 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 ay, 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 amo, ay, 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 ashkotoshka, miskoshka. Nigni anote pese shoto tata ni koshete anona sesha nana keshete titusa sa mi koshteteraya makochataya makoshabaya sosa nana cheteri atobekesaya shopayaniashto tore asaya ni koshete ni kosesaya shapurna hachikikam kaya makoya sheteti aso ni nichkaya nashtatacha anoshatete sasama kaya mashotosha nishete titi asai sheteno Kaina no shiteti daya da da de teti daya da da de eteti daya da da de eteti daya da da de eteti aya yato to teti ashoto tadi asho kariari ori ari 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 amokoshati Nano shepena, ke ashotori, ashabainana, shepeshete, adishete, otoshanako sasa, kainana, nene, no, na, nene, no, no, na, nene, no, nene, no, nene, no, nene, no, nene, no, nene, nani 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 no nani 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 Mori ai 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 Asho nane Ashamai ai 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 Yashamai ai 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 Manori ai 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 Mane ai 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 Yashoro Ashme na ne 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 na ne 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 na ne 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 na ne na ne 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 ne na 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 ne ne na 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 ne ne 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 na 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 bokoto te dia dia bobadi dia dia bobadi na ni na sho yashene no no kiyasho paya makose sa shene na no kishete adi sasa na na makoyati dia sama koshete ato ai Koyeni sa, koninishta dorisa, mikai kanishta de aso aso. Just allow that flow to be moving through you with grace, with ease. Seeing how clear it is, how easy it is to choose love and peace and harmony and sovereignty. Matopese asi sasami koshtete aso asam. Kiashtotiri ase se shaniko toti anikai sababa. bakashtotori atubisebi anushtate atisabashemi. Mokotori isekaya bakoshatiti tiasama. Ayamakotori shetiti atisasa mikotori amahan nohe chikotose asama. Nano kichiti atisabia bia 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 shotori ano. Miro ishketa nikishete atisasa. Beautiful. Focus back on your breath, becoming aware of yourself. We are complete.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So high vibrational, amazing. A little sleepiness came over there. So that is an energy shift. Something shifted there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I find it amazing that here in this time that we're talking about unity, and as we see this in our outer world, we feel it. We can now imagine it. We can now begin to see it. I know many light workers and New Earth Wayshowers have seen New Earth, but now we're really beginning to feel it as we see in the outer collective this great shift and dismantling.
Yes.
And I just think it's amazing that we're at 0 degrees Aquarius on December 21st, 2020 of this year. That's fully into the Aquarian age then, right?
Yeah, exactly. Our feet are on the ground, right? Yes. And so understanding that, overstanding that, you recognize that all of these things that are collapsing around us must. They have never served the people, right? And so they have to go away. They have to. And so for us, it's just to observe and knowing that everything is as it should be. And it's nothing to be afraid of. We're going to always be provided for. Things are going to get better, but it's always darkest before the light, and that's where we are.
Okay. Okay. It's always darkest before the light. And so, what would you say about those to get wildly creative for New Earth solutions? You mentioned that we can't just stay inside and meditate. Are there ways that we can take action? And what sort of action would you suggest that we take for New Earth, for anchoring in totally new ways? I mean, it's as easy as writing a letter to the editor to seed that out there. But
Absolutely.
we really need
So,
to get creative.
well, think about it. What do you imagine Utopia to look and be like,
A
right?
bed for every human.
So think about it, people, and I love watching the tiny house community. I love watching building off the grid. I love green energy. So just imagine, if you will, what it would look like to start building self-sustainable villages where you start to have, um, my idea, I love the idea of building a sanctuary, of building a retreat center. And on my retreat center, about 100 to 200 acres, I see half of it where people can come and build their own tiny home or their off-grid home. I see where you have running water, you have power. So we're not talking about living, like you're living 100 years ago, but we have power, but it's all green energy. And then another side of it where we have acres and acres of farmland where we're growing our food. And so imagine you have your all your nut trees, your avocado trees, you're growing all your vegetation and your food. And then we have the other side where we actually have a retreat center where people can come and stay for a week or a month and learn how to do self-sustainable things and meditate. And where we teach classes, people who know yoga, people who know qigong, people who have these natural spiritual abilities where they can come and they can teach classes, and so that the masses begin to understand how we should and how we could be. So for me, that's my dream. I see a village like that I create, that is off-grid, self-sustainable, and very nice, because we don't, I'm not talking about roughing it in any stretch of the imagination. right? But things like that. And so it is, and then people who know more truth about the history of the earth to teach those things, people who know more history of, okay, whatever, it's about learning more of what the truth is, and the truth is going to be revealed for everyone. And so how do you receive that? And so maybe it's someone who has a compassionate heart, you know, an um, empath. And so your job then is to go and help those who are having a little difficulty with accepting this truth, right? Because they've been bombarded with all the false programs for so long. Maybe they're going to need a little extra counseling. And so that's how you can be of service. So it's to take what you have where you are right now, and how can I be of service moving forward? And then how do I take that and create something for it? You see, because we are creators. And so that's why we came forward. Look at all the musicians that we have on the planet. In fact, I recorded 3 songs that I'm going to be doing videos for soon. And so it's to share our music and our God-given talents and gifts. And so think about what brings you joy. And if it brings you joy, then the possibility is it may bring another joy. And so that's how we come together collectively. Imagine if we had communities like that and we came together and we built a stage. In fact, I did last summer, I did a festival in Ava, Missouri, where in the middle of this beautiful acreage, they have a stage and people camped out and we performed, and I went there and I performed my songs and they're dancing and it was just lovely. So imagine doing things like that where it brings us more and more joy. So I think if we can start to think in those terms, we can start to paint a picture of what this new earth could and should look like.
Yes, thank you for that. I love that. Absolutely. And I too had a vision of the entire world where everyone was authentic and just expressing themselves as love. And I actually laughed out loud because it was hilarious. And so I love it. Follow our passion. That's what we talk about all the time, and do what brings us joy. It is beautiful. Okay, let's talk about, well, some of the bridges that are going to come to New Earth. I just love sharing wild and crazy, creative, wildly creative ideas. They're not crazy, but
Mhm.
as we bridge to New Earth, we'll see solutions that arise. I think in this whole process of
Mhm.
what we've gone through collectively, people recognize how much they do appreciate nature and getting out on the land. And
Mhm.
so as more people choose to be sovereign and work in different ways, play in different ways, earn a living in different ways, some of these commercial buildings may become homeless living centers, one idea, or can be removed to create even more open space and parks,
Absolutely. Well,
things
think
like
about it.
this.
You know, they say that there's about 6,000 different patents that the shadow has been keeping down. And so imagine these patents coming out for energy. So, you know, I was looking a couple of months ago, there was a gentleman who actually has a device that he created that can pull water out of the air. And he has one in Africa, he has one in 2 other countries. And so literally gallons upon gallons of water. So think about this for a moment, Lauren. If I can go to the middle of the desert where there's lots of land and I can pull water out the air, now I can plant my oasis, right? I can produce energy because heaven knows there's enough sunshine so I can have as much solar. So why on earth would you want to be cooped up when you can go now anywhere on the planet and create space where you can grow your food and you can be one with nature? I think we're going to feel the desire and the urge to want to be more with one with nature, because that really truly is our innate sense that we want to connect with her, and that's been taken away from us on purpose. The concrete jungle has been on purpose yourself into Mother Earth and feeling your connection with her. How many children do you know don't know what a cow looks like, or they don't know how tomatoes grow on a vine? And so just imagine the newness of all of this when we begin to, and I'm not saying that we don't need grocery stores, because certainly markets have a place and all of that is fine, but imagine where those who choose that can grow for themselves and get their hands in that dirt and really feel connected. And so there's going to be so much more opportunity for all of that as well.
Yes, opportunity for all of that. And that is beautiful. Again, it is just so beautiful and
Mhm.
what we all have envisioned. And that's why we always say, hold your vision of new earth and
Yes.
just hold it because we will see it come about. I love it.
You get
Beautiful.
to create it. So how you
Yes.
see it is how your piece of it will manifest for you, right? So hold on to the vision because it will manifest. Again, we're co-creators. And as we're moving through this and we're receiving more of our abilities, more of those frequencies and codes moving into us, that means that we're able to manifest more and more. So stay true to your vision. And you down for a moment, stay true to your vision, hold on to it, see everything through the eyes of love and compassion as a detached observer. Because when you get angst over it or angry over it or allow yourself to be putting your emotions into it, all you're doing is feeding it. And we need not feed it. It's been fed enough. We need to feed new earth.
Yes, we need to feed new earth and we feed that with our love.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. And getting out on the land and being with her. And there's
Mhm.
so many tools that we have for that. So thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's
Mhm.
talk about light body and what you see and in your own experience with light body. Where would you say that you're at in the whole process? And do you see anything happening for the collective in this process? As we move forward on
That's
this.
an interesting question because there are many stages or many different types of light bodies, right? So, well, and as we've shared, has been this entire life, with beings coming and taking me and preparing me. And so in 2012, my light body, I actually watched it descend into me. So yes, there were many things happening during that time. And literally I was laying in bed, all the visitations that I had going off planet, all of the preparation that I had gone through, and many years of preparation. And so in 2012, as I lay in bed pulsing and vibrating and watching all the colors, um, yeah, I watched as the white light body descended into me, and it was about a 10 to 11 hour process. So that was in 2012. In 2014, I found myself on Mount Shasta. I broad daylight, a walk over into 5D and saw what 5D looks like. And actually the kingdom appeared to me where the ascended masters are. And so that was 2014. In 2015, ceremony on the land in the desert, and I sang the 72 names of God in Hebrew. Well, that then is when my I am, my monad began its descension into me. And that's when I stood up and spoke light language for the first time and was the cosmic peacock goddess. And in 2016, a 9-year, because this is all sacred geometry, folks, it's a 9-year cycle. In 2016, I then ascended up and I could feel me like I was in an elevator going up and marrying the two of us coming together. So my I am came down in 2015, I went up in 2016, and we became one. And since that, then I mean, there's pictures of, rainbow body, my golden body. There are all different levels of it that just start to now come in at that point. And so it's real. It's a process. And ascension goes through it. Most people all already have a violet body, a blue body, because those are all the bodies for purification, if you will. Um, and I can only speak to my experience of how the white light body literally descended into me. I know a few people that actually had a similar experience with viscerally seeing it and feeling it move in. I'm not sure if that's how it's going to be for everyone. I only know my experience because of who I am. That's how it happened for me. However, that's how it happened for me, and it was very real as I watched it come in. And so we'll all have our own unique experience as to what that looks like, but they are distinct processes that need to happen. Merkaba activations, Kundalini activations. First of and getting your heart to a place of coherence, right? The mind and the heart in coherence. I remember when I was on Mount Shasta, in 2014, and I saw the kingdom one by one. The rays of God descended into me, and one by one the rays came from the heavens, hit me in the heart. I would go back to the side, forward to the side and back, and then the next one would hit. And so it's about understanding and having an understanding of what those rays represent. And so these are principles and things that we have to be. It's not just enough to know them. We have to know what truly does the divine surrender and divine will mean, right? What is unconditional love, the third ray? And so it's not enough to know the colors, but it's to really master those principles. So those are things that need to happen within us. And so wherever you are, and okay, back to the 9-year cycle, this is the 4th year, right? 2020 is a 4. So we're in year 4. That should tell you a lot. That's going to tell you where you are in that 4-year cycle. I know for me, if I just gave you the timeline of where I was in 2012, what happened in 2014, what happened in 2015, and what happened in 2016, I'm giving you the guidepost of the things that need to happen, right? Right there. So it's about surrender, 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 surrender. Surrender to your higher self to be the divine director of all you think, say, and do. Surrender to your higher self to be the orchestrator of everything within you. Surrender to your higher self every day and daily to guide you. What am I here to do today? How can I be of service today? Everything is about you becoming of. You're no longer whatever. How can that be of service to the whole? And when you can get to that purity going on within you, your heart open, and there's unconditional love, and you're not judging anything, but you're just looking and observing, understanding that things are playing out as they play out. And I feed them with love, knowing that everything's going to come for the best and highest good of all, and stand in that truth. Then you begin to move further and further along on that path.
Thank you. That is beautiful. Surrender, surrender, surrender to the higher self. For those who still have a little bit of a challenge listening to the heart, listening to the call of the heart,
Mm-hmm.
what can you say for them to really hear that call, or to understand it, or to invoke the higher self and surrender to the higher self? Do you have a process or a system?
Well, actually, yes, I do. For the heart, it actually is a movement. And so I'm not sure if it's in the package, but I know that it's actually a meditation that I teach where I literally walk you into the heart. And so it is simply starting, you start out in your head, and you have to realize that your consciousness is who you are, and you can move your consciousness anywhere you want it to be. So if I focus my awareness at a particular place and then I move it, so if I focus in that tight confining space in between my brain and my skull, and using my inner vision, my imagination, I now can see the nooks and crannies of my brain, all the entrenchment. And then I focus and I direct myself to move down, and now I can see, my eyes are closed from this inside perspective looking out, and then I move myself. And so I gradually move myself. I move that person down through their body, having them with their inner vision, their inner imagination, beginning to focus and seeing from this new perspective, right? And then they continue to move down and move and move and move and move and move until I have them at the bottom of their heart, facing the back of their heart, where there's an actual opening. And that opening is a vortex. So then you get to that place and you allow it to pull you in, and you can literally feel yourself floating in and down into this space. Now you're in your heart. So it's a daily practice that you, until you can go there instantly, you walk yourself down, down. What it looks like. I can see my teeth. Yes, I do see my teeth. I see my tongue. Let me keep going. Now I'm at the back of my throat. Yes, I can see my throat. Let me keep going. Oops, now I'm beginning to hear, sense, and feel my heart. Yes, let me keep going. And so it's dedication, right? It's a process and it's a practice. And so it's every day to walk yourself into that place. And now throughout the day, if things are going on, then you have to stop and check in with yourself. If things are going well and you're having positive thoughts, then you're probably feeling good and things are okay. But if you're not feeling well, then you're probably having negative thoughts. And so you need to stop and say, oh, I'm probably not in my heart space. Let me go ahead, clear my energy. Was that mine or was that someone else's that I took on? Let me change that thought that's not making me feel very good. Let me breathe it out and let me walk myself back into my heart. Ah, I'm back there. Now let's create from this place again. And then I keep moving throughout the day. So that's the thing, as a conscious being, as a conscious creator, we have the responsibility to ourselves to stop throughout the day and pay attention to where we are in any given moment, our awareness of where we are, because we get so trapped in autopilot, we get so trapped in our day-to-day activity that we do it mindlessly instead of mindfully. And everything about this is becoming mindful of who you are, where you are, how you're feeling in this moment, what are you thinking in this moment, and what are you creating in this moment?
Yes, beautiful. Thank you for that. And the decisions that we make, we're going to get so good at feeling into this and feeling that we're going to build a base
Oh, yes.
of experiences where we're going to say, we're going to be able to look back in hindsight and
Mm-hmm.
say, well, that experience, it felt really good when I made that decision. And look what happened. It was in the flow. It was wonderful.
Yep.
And then look at this decision over here. That's just a good experience that helps us grow in this beautiful way and surrender even more and more to our higher self and to the voice
Absolutely.
of the heart. And
Yep.
that's beautiful, isn't it? That's lovely.
And that's the way we should all be, and we will all get there. And so it will then eventually become your autopilot, right? It's like,
Yes.
ah, I create from love, I am love, and all is well, and I am at peace. And that's my new autopilot. And boy, doesn't that feel amazing. So that you innately, intuitively just make the choices that serve your best and highest good because you've invited your higher self in so much that now you're just as one and your heart is as one and your thoughts come from your higher mind as one. So there is no more separation because that was the illusion. But you've done the work to really reconnect to that divine part of yourself. And so it's easy to now take direction because it feels like you, because it is.
Yes, beautiful. All right. Well, I want to talk about the way that people can work with you more deeply and closely. You have so many amazing tools for people, like you mentioned, this process to really go within. And you are an incredible way shower because you've been through this yourself. And so,
Mhm.
for those who want to remember and be that innate true essence and love that they are, you have a really good program and tools for people. And so let's talk about some of these things. On this page that we're watching this event on, there are a couple of options. So, let's talk about this. The first one is it's really the return of your divine blueprint. And so we have a couple of options, but this one about awakening codes, share with us about what this is.
All right. I think you froze for a moment. And so are you on offer one?
Yes, offer one upgraded awakening codes video.
Oh, yes. And so that is well, you had a sample of it with the light language transmission. So these are 5 or 6 distinct transmissions for specific things. Your sovereignty, peace, love, different things that I do like 10 minutes on each one of a transmission. And so all you're going to do is sit, get comfortable, breathe, turn it on and just allow for the next 38, 40 minutes, those transmissions to come through. And you can listen to it or watch it over and over and over again. So those are all light language transmissions, like I said, about 38 to 40 minutes of transmissions. And so they are going to work on you at a cellular level. They're going to actually help to activate the DNA and the light codes within you and to help you to move into the flow. So that's what it's all about. helping you to move into the flow, helping you to move into higher dimensions. And so you'll find yourself during it, you might find yourself releasing, and releasing shows up differently for everyone, as we know. So, you know, expect that, and that's okay. You may begin to cry or yawn or feel sleepy. And so it's all perfect. And again, you can listen to it over and over again, because it's going to work on you at a cellular level to clear, to calibrate, and to increase your frequencies, and to really help support the divine feminine energies that are coming in. So that's what that one is all about.
Beautiful. Yes, the divine feminine energies coming in. I think many have reported feeling the heartbeat of Gaia, feeling as if we were in the womb of Gaia. And now the Divine Mother just looking out at the sky lately. I don't know if you've noticed anything spectacular or beautiful or different about the clouds. The air
Well,
is certainly cleaner, but the
yeah,
clouds are different.
the clouds are billowy, real clouds. And, you know, it's so very interesting. Even the 2 days ago when I was out with the council, my whole house was one big white cloud. I couldn't really see the 3D. And for, I don't even know how many hours, everything I looked at, I was looking through this misty white energy. My husband had a rainbow on him. The lights in the house all had rainbows under them. And that's what I was looking at, a misty cloud-like substance and rainbows, with my eyes open in my home. Yeah, so.
And would you say that's divine mother energy?
That's definitely divine energy,
Divine
higher
energy.
frequencies. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, so then you have another offer. And so each of these are available independently. And we like that. And we also have a package with everything in there. The path of the initiate, this goes into the first four initiations of Ascension. So this is interesting. How do people work with this?
So these are basically videos, if you will, or webinars. And so each one is 90 minutes, and each one is extremely detailed, in fact. And so understanding Ascension, the first initiation is mastery of the everything begins, correct? And so we have to understand that. And so I move you through what it means to have the physical body. What does it mean? How it is the container for your mind. It is the container for your emotions. It's the container for your spirit. And so it's designed to support you and to have experiences. And so it's to teach you how to begin to communicate with that physical body, to be mindful of everything about it. If you sleep too much or sleep too little, or eat too much or eat too little, it's really to teach you how to become the observer of your physicality. And then from that, you can begin to expand into the other bodies. And so the first one is to master what holds everything together, the container. And each one is truly a self-contained 90 minutes. And so mastery of your mental body is to understand that you are not your thoughts, that and so how do you think your thoughts? Where are your thoughts coming from, right? If you are not your thoughts, then who are you? And so it's just a tool for you to use, and you have to understand how to use it. You have to understand how to communicate with it, because you're consciousness, and that's not the mind, that's not your thoughts. So you have to really understand how to communicate with it and how to give it better direction, so that when you need it to step aside and not be that continuous negative thought on your back, right? Say, thank you. It's just trying to show you something. And so you honor it and say, I acknowledge you. What are you trying to show me? Thank you. 100 times before, but this time we're going to do it now like this. You see, so that mind was to say, what are you talking about? You failed. We doing it differently now? And so you have to be able to consciously say, yes, but I'm choosing to do it and to see it this way now. So it really is understanding how to manage your mental body. Then we move on to the emotional body, which is the largest body, because think about it, all of these lifetimes of unexpressed emotions that you've had all collectively come together with you in the here and the now. And so we have to understand that. And at any given time, you could have all sorts of different emotions, somewhere around 21 different emotions. And so how do you handle that? How do you move yourself from fear and guilt to being happy? You can't do it in one swoop. You have to gradually go up and up and up the ladder. And so it's a movement, and you have to learn what that movement looks like. And so that's what you're going to discover in Mastery of the Emotional Body. And then the art of letting go. Just as we think we know everything and we've moved through those stages of consciousness and so forth, okay, now I have to let go of what I think I know, because a lot of times it's the ego who says, you know, I got this. You don't have to show me anymore. Well, yes, now let's let it go and see how you handle that. Now let's really surrender to your higher self, and to spirit, and see how you deal with that. And so it's to let yourself be still, surrender, and let go, and go into that stillness and see what happens for you. So that's a beautiful place to be.
Yes, again, that surrender word, the key word.
Yes, it is.
Surrender, surrender. And so then the next program that you've got in offer 3 is really the transformation between this spiritual and the physical body, and you call this the morphogenic metamorphosis.
Yeah, this is really when you begin to transform. This is really how you begin to react. So this is taking you through that. And actually, this is the first part of that as a transmission of love through light meditation. So this is where I actually walk you into your heart and show you how to be in that place and truly feel as one with your heart. And so listening to that every day and walking you there is going to tremendously help you, because it's through the heart that everything else gets activated. Oh, confirmation. And so from there, then I do a powerful clearing, because you have to let go of all the trauma, let go of all the drama, let go of things on this level and any level of your being, right? Anything that might be construed as not supporting your highest self needs to go. And so that's an ongoing process, because you're in society and you never know when something might attach to you. So we have to constantly be making sure that we're clearing everything off of us. And this is just a beautiful clearing process that we call in source of the highest light with the purest intent, to remove anything that does not support me. And to bring in the dispensations to assist me. So not only is this just a clearing, but it's to ask for dispensations for you so that you can move on your path. Because again, there have been things that have been put in place to lock us out. So this meditation helps to unlock those things that have been put in place and create the dispensations to allow us to move forward as we're supposed to about. And then the metamorphosis, the morphogenic metamorphosis. This is really about discovering who you are at a higher level. And I'm calling in, oh my goodness, I call in ascended masters and I call in beings of light to assist with this movement of your DNA and these activations. So that one is extremely powerful. And you want to do the clearing several times first. You want to do the heart meditation several times first before you ever go into the morphogenic meditation, because it's that powerful, because we're calling in Saint Germain and we're calling in all sorts of hierarchy to assist with your field and your light to bring it in. And then the last one, I am my light body now, is really showing you and teaching you all about what the light body is, and how to be this expression, without guilt, without pain, without lack, without suffering, without prejudice, without poverty. It's how to you truly move into understanding that you are 99% energy and 1% matter, and really beginning to wrap your head around that. Because from my perspective, being this 99% energy, where I have moments of dematerializing, um, it's something to wrap your head around, to be quite honest.
Well, I'd like to wrap my head around more about you telling more of your story about dematerializing. That sounds really amazing.
It is just a part of the process. Again, if you understand that you're 99% energy and 1% matter. And so when you have completely surrendered and you have your vibration, your frequency have increased to the point where you're constantly feeling pulsing and vibrating, emanating from you. And so for me, as I look around, I see everything pixelated. I don't see anything solid anymore. I see the movement of it, and I know and accept that nothing is solid. So because my consciousness already tells me that nothing is solid, it's just that for this moment, I need it to be this cup. And so it's this cup for me in this moment. Right? And so when you can accept that, okay, let me give you an example of an experience. And so, and you really have to adjust to this, to be quite honest. So I don't know, some time ago, maybe 2 months ago, I found myself levitating, and I'm like, oh, I'm levitating out of bed. Okay, this is interesting. Here I go. And so I'm leaving my home, and I go out through the wall, and I'm traveling outside, and it's nighttime and I'm outside. And of all of my senses as I'm traveling. I'm like, okay. So I look down and I'm in my nightgown. Yes, I'm in my nightgown. I have my bedroom slippers on. And I say to myself, right, you mean I don't even have a traveling attire? I mean, this is just how real and how much you observe. I'm holding my bed pillow, and I have a silk pillowcase. I'm holding my bed pillow in my arms, and it's flapping in the breeze. And so I'm like, oh, there's a breeze, but I don't feel cold. Okay. And now we're flying, and we're flying at the level of the trees, and there are no leaves yet, right? And I'm going right through the branches as I'm traveling, and very aware of me moving through trees. I formless. Does that make sense? There have been other times when I have levitated up out of bed, gone into my house when my mother was living with us, and I went downstairs. I went into her bedroom, and my hands went into her side to work on something. It lit up, illuminated, and I worked on it within her. And then I was back in bed. Well, I jumped up when I was back in bed. I jumped up, I opened the door, I ran downstairs, and I went into her bedroom, and she was still quietly sleeping. And so, yes, we can dematerialize and move here and there. People reach out to me, I can't tell you how often, and will say that I have come and visited with them, whether they be in the hospital or I've come to them just recently and said, don't worry, everything's okay. And so there's that constant movement. But even beyond that, I have worked on people literally sitting here in my office, and all of a sudden their eyes grow big, and I look at them and I say, well, what's going on? And they say, well, don't you see your room's filling with light? So I'll push the record button. And when I play it back, my room fills with light. I'm sitting in a sphere of different colors, and I dematerialize. And you can see furniture through me.
Edwige shows us what's possible with Ascension. And Edwige, you are really, let's say, online multidimensionally,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. And again, that's another aspect of it that you really have to wrap your head around, because as a multidimensional being, you're tapping into all of you at the same time. And so, for example, this morning as I'm laying there, I was hearing multiple thoughts, all of me communicating with me, all of me, from past lifetimes to the higher aspects of me, all in me. And so, and it's like, in one moment I'm here, and in the next moment I'm there, and in the next moment I'm there, and I'm just like, whoa, okay. And so it takes some getting used to. It really does. It's a beautiful thing. And so it's a process that we have to, some of us slower than others, because it is a process, and you have to get used to the idea that you're multidimensional and all aspects of you are in you at the same time, and you're aware of all aspects of you.
Yes, I love that. And so another thing that I love is that there's as many people on the planet as there are. That's how many ways there are to ascend. And some would say, "Oh, I need to go off on my own. I can't be married," or how do you do it when you're a parent? But you are married. You do have a husband,
I've been
and
married for 20 years.
congratulations. And you're
Thank
going through
you.
this process. And can you share with us what that is like? Is he he
Oh my
accepts you, he
goodness.
helps you. And so, he doesn't judge or
It
think you're crazy.
Oh no. And what's so interesting, and so this is our 54th or 45th, it's a 9. So it's either 45 lifetimes or 54 lifetimes together. So this is the last lifetime together. He's actually a time jumper, and he has jumped into timelines to find safe haven for the cosmic peacock goddess another lifetime. So he knows his job, which is right, which is so interesting to me because a girlfriend met him 20 years ago and called me and said, Edwige, I found your husband. Well, she was right. She did. That's him. And so, for example, 2 days ago when I was with the council, wow, he knew to get up because I was laying down on the sofa in the family room going through these transmissions. I sat up like this and I started talking to him because he was sitting right there. And I'm telling him, I'm over there now. This is what's going on. It was very matter of factly. He knew to get up. I took his hand. He helped to ground. As it continued for the next 2 hours with the other 3 people on the phone, he knew to come around and to hold certain places and to help anchor so that because I was gone, um, absolutely gone. And literally I couldn't walk. So he had to help me when the transmissions were starting to subside. God, it was like a 5-6 hour process. He had to help me walk because I couldn't. And so he knows his position. Now, also, and here's the really personal part of it, he cannot sleep in the same bed all night. They will make him feel like the bed is lopsided. It's a brand new foam bed. It will be too uncomfortable. There's too much frequency going on. And so, quite honestly, we honor that. And he does not sleep there with me because he can't. They don't want him to. And I know another person actually who came to my mentoring program, and I told him, I know the level that you're at, this is coming. I warned him, and lo and behold, his wife accepted it. And, they're a loving marriage of some 20 some years, and they each have their own separate bedroom. It is just sometimes the process. Now, here's the interesting thing, Lauren. There have been times when they'll get my attention and say, go get him. And they'll go touch him and say, go to her. And they'll have me laying in one direction, him laying in the opposite direction, and instantly he's back to sleep. I'm laying there. I turn on from my heart and I see the energy leave my heart, go down my body, turn out my feet, and go into his head. So you
Okay.
see, again, we don't know how the process is going to show up. It shows up. That's why in every moment you surrender, in every moment you accept, in every moment you know. And if that person is the right person for you, they're going to love and support you in it. I was shown years ago, probably in 2008, I was shown me walking through this worn, torn place here. And he was on my left side as my protector, and my mother was on my right side, sort of like my cheerleader. And as I walked, I'd wave my hand and some soul would rise up, right? And so as if they were being healed and they could walk again and come up. And so I knew back then that he would be okay in his position of knowing that he is one of the guards. He shows up in the outer world when things are going on um, to, help anchor, ground, and protect.
Thank you. Thank you
It's
for
a village.
sharing.
It
It's
takes
a
a village
village.
sometimes. And if it's not the village you're with in the moment, it will be the village that's to come.
Love the village you're with. Love the one you're with. Okay. Well, I love this. I loved our conversation today. Edwige, Dr. Edwige is a incredible way shower. You've heard from this beautiful course today, her experience, her light language activations, and we invite everyone who wants to work closely with Edwige to call on her for this beautiful assistance that she can offer everyone on this beautiful path of ascension. It is a new earth coming, and Edwige has beautiful tools for you to hook yourself up and bring on light body.
Literally.
Hook yourself up. Hook it up. Plug yourself into
Plug
light
yourself
body.
in. It's very electrical. Trust me, you feel it.
I know, amazing images that you've captured of this whole process. And it really is what is possible with Ascension. And you are an Ascension leader and an Ascension wayshower. And we
Thank you.
can't thank you enough for the beautiful activations that have lit us up today. Thank you, Edwige.
Thank you, Loren. It's always a delight to be here and to share. You know, it continues, it's never ending. And that's what we have to know, that for all of us, we continue to move closer and closer and closer to that time of divine perfection and to that paradise. It's coming, folks. So just hold on.
Just hold on, hold your vision of new earth. And I
Yes.
want to share a beautiful mantra. It's a very simple one. It's a very few simple phrases that Edwige shared with me years ago. And when I wake up in the middle of the night and my head goes into the worry, I am taken back to this phrase that Edwige gave us. I am love, I am light. I am love, I am light. And that is so beautiful. It instantly shifts us into
Yes, it
the
does.
remembrance of who we are. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Till next time. Much love. Much love.
Thank you, everyone. And again, if you'd like Edwige's trainings and teachings, they are on this webpage and they're waiting for you. Thank you, everyone, for this Mastery Empowerment course. And Edwige, we all give you a giant love hug. Thank you.
Thank you.